Hello everyone, thank you for watching Edupedia World videos. I'm Vikram here, I'm an SAP architect. In this video we are going to discuss the overview of ABAP. In the video 1 we have basically discussed about certain basics. So in the video 1 we discussed about the ERP concept. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It's a basic concept on which SAP has built its various softwares. I have taken an example of ERP. I've compared ERP with a car and explained you the scenario of what exactly is ERP all about. And SAP is a company which was started in 1972 in a place called Waldorf in Germany. And this company actually manufactures the world's largest number of ERP softwares. Now, ABAP by 4 is a proprietary language to develop any applications in SAP's most of the applications. ABAP by 4 stands for Advanced Business Application Programming Language, and 4 is the 4th generation software. In this slides, we have various topics in ABAP by 4: data dictionary, programming, OOPS, forms, conversions, enhancements, cross applications, and WebDynPro. But in this video 2, we are going to discuss only about the concept of data dictionary, programming, OOPS, and forms. In the coming video 3, we are going to discuss about the conversions, enhancements, cross applications, and WebDynPro as well. Now we need to understand what exactly data dictionary is all about. In ABAP by 4, data dictionary plays a major role, a critical role, because all the business data or configuration customizing data will be stored in database tables. Database tables is a central repository of SAP server to store the properties of objects and their respective data. Data is stored only in database tables in the SAP system. So it's a central repository which is very important for us to maintain the data. Data dictionary again has some subtopics. We have database tables, we have views, data types, type groups, domain, search help, and lock objects. Database tables basically handles all the data, the business data or configuration data, everything will be stored in database tables. Views get the data from various tables, retrieve the data, and show it to you on the single screen. Views literally pick the data in runtime through database tables and show it to you on the screen. There will be various types of views which we are going to discuss in detail when we are discussing about the data dictionary topic. Data types again stores properties. Type groups is basically used to store some code which will have only structure declaration. Domains is also used to store the properties. Search help is mainly used for drop down of the values. If you want a value help, then we can go for search help. And lock objects basically is used to lock the objects. Unlocking and unlocking concept, what exactly is all about, we are going to discuss that when it comes to the data dictionary topic. Now programming is also one of the most important and the major topic here. This concept is the core concept of ABAP, where we learn how to write the logic for any requirement. Now in programming we have reporting, we have module pool programming. Module pool programming is also called as dialog programming or dynamic programming or DynPro or screen programming. Now in reporting we have two major topics, that is classical reporting and ALVs. Classical reporting is basically we need to understand what exactly is reporting. Reporting is a concept in which we are going to retrieve the data from database tables and show it on the screen. It's read-only option. We cannot edit the data, we cannot manipulate or enter the data. Creation of data, deletion of data, or manipulation of data cannot be done in reporting concept. Reporting concept is basically used to retrieve the data from database table and show it on the screen. In this we have two major subtopics. We have classical reporting and ALV reports. In classical reporting again we have basic reports and ALV interactive reports. Basic report has a single screen of display. But in interactive report, when you click on the first screen, you'll get the second screen. You click on the second screen, you'll get the third screen. That is called interactive report. In interactive report, it is a drill down report. ALV also has a similar kind of reports, basic, interactive, and addition to that we have hierarchical. The basic difference between classical reports and ALV reports is the look and feel. The look and feel in classical reports is very sober. It looks like a notepad format, but ALV reports look more systematic way, and it looks like an Excel sheet. So this is the major difference between classical reports and ALV reports. And hierarchical reports are existing only on ALVs, does not exist in classical reporting. Hierarchical ALVs enables us to display the header and item data in a same screen. We have header data and we have item data. Header and item data are there in the same screen, and this is what happens in a hierarchical ALVs. Modular programming is basically used to modify, edit, delete or read the data in the database tables through the screens. Basically here in modular programming, when we design screens, and we can write a logic to enter this data in the database tables in the backend. All the screens that are already pre-existing in SAP are done in modular programming. Every screen that you see in SAP is designed in modular programming, and it whenever we enter the data in the screen and save it, it goes back and saves in the database table, and that logic we are going to write in the backend. And we are going to learn that when we are discussing about the modular programming. Modular programming, we'll design the screens, and in short, we can manipulate the data using this concept. We can do anything. We can play with the data here in modular programming. Now, coming to the next concept is object-oriented programming. Basically, whatever programming that we do in classical or ALV reports is a basic conventional logical procedure that we normally follow. But whereas it comes to object-oriented programming is a programming language organized around objects rather than actions and data rather than logic. Historically, a program has been viewed as a logical procedure that takes input data, processing it, and produces output data. Now, and that's a theoretical kind of explanation about OOPS. For getting a clear idea about what exactly is OOPS, I'm just taking an example here. I'm comparing the structured programming or the logical or conventional programming with self-cooking, and a buffet lunch or dinner with a object-oriented programming. Now, when you invite any one of your friends for a lunch or dinner, and when it is self-cooking, you restrict the kind of recipes to one or two recipes or dishes. But when it comes to when you offer them a buffet, when you take them to a buffet restaurant and there you have a buffet, you'll offer them at least 10 to 20 dishes because they are already ready for you to be served and eaten. So here the major difference here is everything have to be developed on your own in self-cooking, and in buffet it's not like that. You just have to understand how to make use of that dishes. So structured programming and object-oriented programming has a similar difference. In structured programming, every logic have to be written by you, but in object-oriented programming, we can make use of the classes which are already pre-existing, and these classes will have some logic written there, and that logic have to be made use of in our programs. So all that we have to know is where we have to use the pre-existing code, which class have to be used in our programming to get what exactly output we need. So just like buffet has various dishes ready, OOPS has various predefined functionalities in classes. So if you can understand this example, it would be very clear for you to understand actual object-oriented programming. Because of the same reason, this has been encouraged in lot of softwares because predefined code is already there. You just make use of it and get the output. That's it. Now forms. Forms is the next concept that we are going to discuss in detail, and in that it's a concept to create forms like invoice. Invoice is a form where we bring data from database tables and present it on a page layout along with static data. Adobe Forms provides option even to manipulate the data. Now in this, what exactly is a form? Now you get a bill, you get a telephone bill, and you see that, and in that if you see there is some static data like the company details and all, and there is dynamic data, your billing address, your billing amount, and all this stuff is the dynamic data. All put together it becomes a form, and this form actually has all the data printed on it, and each form has a different data. For example, if you print 10 crore greetings, all the 10 crore greetings or 10 million greetings have to have the same kind of static data, but dynamic data should be different. For example, to address have to be different. After the dear customer, it cannot be dear customer. I say dear John. Then in this next greeting, it should be dear Frederick. So what exactly happens here is, after the dear, the customer's name will be changing. So that dynamic data is what we are going to populate, and we are going to decide for page layout, and that page layout is what we are going to print it. And then we also have the Adobe Forms. So in forms, we have scripts, smart forms, and Adobe Forms. So scripts is a very old concept, outdated concept. Smart forms is a latest concept. Adobe Forms is a very advanced concept in which we can even manipulate the data. Normally in scripts and smart forms, we can only retrieve the data from database tables and show it on the screen. But whereas in Adobe Forms, we can design the screen and we can even manipulate the data. For example, you can design an online application form which can be launched in a website wherein any customer or any user enters the data and saves it. It goes back and saves the database table. But whereas in scripts and smartphones, it is enabled only to retrieve the data and display. You cannot manipulate the data. I'm taking a couple of examples like invoice, billing, greetings, and etc. All these other different types of forms that we make use of.